the next president of Nigeria, we have some tough choices to make.
We have all agreed here, everybody, the three of us have agreed that the issue of security is paramount.
You can't have 33% unemployment in a country of over 200 million people, and you have crisis.
Our situation in Nigeria, whereby people cannot go to the farm, people cannot buy and sell from point B to point C.
Radical extremist violence, terrorism, banditry, kidnapping, human trafficking, trafficking in weapons, trafficking in drugs, climate change, resource-driven conflicts, etc., etc.
Asiwaju Bola Tinubu arrives venue of the Eid prayer in Lagos. Asiwaju Bola Tinubu used the platform to call on Nigerians to continue to pray against the spate of insurgency and banditry.
We should respect one another, love each other, unite the country, stop all acts of banditry and instability. That is how we can bring peace, love, and progress to the country.
It is few weeks to the APC national primary elections, and one presidential aspirant who has been moving with aggressive momentum is Asiwaju Bola Tinubu. He promised the APC delegates in Katsina State that he will effectively tackle the security challenge and other national issues bedeviling the country if elected as president of Nigeria.
We all have that challenge of insecurity, challenge of banditry. I can assure you, their time is limited. It will be over, and it's over, inshallah, soon.
On the other hand, to secure itself, Nigeria not only requires to build and enhance the capacity of its armed forces, but also the welfare and well-being of its citizens. Though a commitment to the promotion of human security, the country has attempted through government and other successive governments interface national security and economic development as two sides of the same coin, focusing equally on food sufficiency and sustainable development. Nigeria shares direct land borders with 4 African countries, with whose people Nigeria also share historical and cultural affinities. This effectively means that the relationship between Nigeria and its immediate neighbors is such that it's more than just a geographical expression. To be fully secured at home, Nigeria has always believed it must be the brother's keeper. It was out of this understanding that African Premier Regional Economic Community, the ECOWAS, was established in 1975. Uniquely, ECOWAS had embedded in its mandate the promotion of regional economic integration as good in its own right, and in addition understood sub-regional peace and security. I am convinced, as I am sure of most of us are, that the broad principle that enabled successive Nigerian government to interface development and security and established an organic link between the national security and economic development with regional peace and prosperity. It is both impeccable and remains relevant. It is an approach which I commit myself to upholding and advancing. Buhari has degraded, but not completely eliminated Asiwaju. Then we talk briefly of lethal weapons and ammunition and technology equipment that could have helped accelerate the cleanup of those people. The West is yet to feel comfortable enough with the Buhari administration to sell us the arms.
Do you think that will change? That might change with you, or will that change with you?
It could change. It might not change, but we have to look at alternatives, and those are the mass recruitment of individuals in a volunteer army to really clean up.
How do you plan to address the violent attacks and kidnappings being perpetrated by Islamic extremists like Boko Haram and ISWAP? And then in the southeast, you have secessionist agitation, you have those enforcing stay-at-home orders every Monday and just causing complete mayhem.
I think first and foremost, you have to give every part of this country a sense of belonging, because there have been exclusion, to some parts, of this country. And then, of course, secondly, there is insufficient number of law enforcement agencies or agents on the streets. There's insufficient number of policemen on the streets. So there has to be a massive recruitment of Nigerians into the police, not only massive recruitment, but training and equipping. And then there has to be, every part of this country has to be given a sense of belonging. And I'm also a supporter for, state police. In the United States, they have about 3-4 levels of police. From state police to county police to borough police to city police, all types of police are there. We need to review that in our constitution and make sure that we provide for levels of police and, the various parts of the states or the country. So, first of all, there should be a decentralization of the police. And then, of course, there must be an increase in the number of policemen on the streets. And then thirdly, they must be well-trained and well-equipped to deal with our security challenges. It's something we can do.
We have never experienced this state of insecurity. We have never experienced this level of unemployment. We have recognized all these negative developments in our history. What is important is how do we tackle these challenges. The unity of our country is very, very fundamental. And how do we achieve the unity of our country? Is by making sure that we give every part of this country a sense of belonging. And somebody asked me, how do you give every part of this country a sense of belonging? I referred them to the situation we found Nigeria in 1998-99 when we came into office. As a PDP party, we won overwhelmingly. We could go on and form our government just based on our majority. But we decided to shelve the majority and say, look, every political party must be part of our administration. And we formed a government of national unity. No sooner we formed the government of national unity, there was calm in the country. It is only when you have this sense of belonging that you will be able to deal with, say, the issue of security.
Indeed, security is key to creating and sustaining an enabling environment for economic growth. Creating economic opportunities for Nigerians will represent significant implications for social cohesion, unity, and national security. Increased jobs and income opportunities will reduce the likelihood of our youth being involved in crime, violence, and conflict motivated by manipulating religious or ethnic differences.
Whether it is in education, whether it is in business, whether it is in agriculture, in every facet of our life, fundamentally there must be security. So we all agree. But how are we going to resolve the security issue first? Many of us have said we need to increase the number of policemen and equip them and train them, as well as other security services in the country. I think it's a consensus amongst all of us. So I think these are the things that we need to do to tackle security. And that's why for me, you know, I have a 5-point program, and security is one of the programs that I said I'm going to tackle if I have the opportunity.
So, what you need to do is aggressively genuinely start pulling people out of poverty. It's been done everywhere in the world. Then, on the defensive security, is a renewable asset. Security is not something you wait until there's an issue and they start reacting. You need to be doing procurement of necessary equipment, employment of necessary manpower. Nigeria is the only country I know with this big size, with one single policing. No, shouldn't be. It should be policing at all levels, local government, state government, coordinated with the central one, and you have to start putting the manpower is low. For me, I've said it repeatedly, that if I have the opportunity, we will deal with the situation head on. First is that I talked about the issue of pulling people out of poverty. And the more you pull people out of poverty, the more you reduce the criminality. Further to that, you need to put in place other measures, ensure that you have proper manpower and proper equipment. You mentioned the issue of state security. I've said it repeatedly that if I have the opportunity, every state will be responsible for her own security. I'll make sure that the governors are given the powers to secure their state. Even if we have federal police there, they will be responsible and reporting to the governor. Additionally, the state will be allowed to have their own security system if they need be. We must secure Nigeria. We will do every other thing that is possible, which I'm not ready to disclose here, but it is one of those things, as I go around learning what to do, security is on top of my list. We're going to have zero tolerance for corruption, so people will stop from stealing public money. Because that's the first thing you need to kill to bring back entrepreneurship. People are not entrepreneur in a corrupt system.
And you're talking about security, right?
That's what I'm just telling you. You're going to bring back, it's all part of it. You're going to bring back professionalism and everything. When you start with all this, you're going to use the small resources you have to tackle security. And there's two ways to do that. To start pulling people out of poverty. The more you pull people out of poverty, the more you reduce criminality. And then you're going to bring in more manpower into your security agencies and support them, equip them properly. And doing so, because you now have resources you have saved from cutting down on cost of governance and ensuring that corruption is stopped, you're going to use it more effectively to be able to secure the country.
Okay.
You'll be decisive. You need to increase the personnel within our security agencies and equip them properly. You need to have state police. It's not possible. It will come into effect. State policing, because you need to hold all the governors and leaders of the state responsible for what happens in their state. They will in turn hold the local government chairman, community leaders responsible with authority to the governor. When I was governor, government of Anambra State was directly paying the vigilantes in all the communities. And all the traditional leaders were being held responsible.
I'm just telling you things that I'm picking up.
All the villages were being held responsible
village heads
for what happens in their village. So there's so many. We need to have a multi-level security outfit. Again, see how we can review and restructure our entire security architecture, which includes increasing the number of personnel, equipping them and training them properly, having a multi-level policing on the police side, local government to state, to national level, as well as aggressively and simultaneously pulling people out of poverty. Because this poverty still have a lot to do with this. So if you don't deal with the economy and tackle it simultaneously as you're tackling security, you're going to still have the same problem.
We agreed in our party that we have to escalate the number of the security agencies. We need special training and retraining. We need special equipment, arms, ammunition, and so on, to ensure that every square meter of this country is being secured. So security is key, and that's why really we have to carry our people for necessary intelligence, to ensure that we have information from every corner, every point of this country, because security cannot function effectively without the intelligence. And of course, we will use technology so that we can identify people who should be taken to courts and so on and so forth. So security is key. Without it, all other areas, not only education, but even the economy, the infrastructure, and everything will certainly go bad. There must be dialogue, and is there very clearly in our blueprint. Our plan, our pledge was that we will try to carry everybody along. We will be happy to work with everybody. We will give everybody equal opportunity to make contributions toward the development of this country. And with that, I believe that the issue of intelligence can be easily generated from the general public once they have confidence in the government itself. And most of these agitations you mentioned were based on the fact that many people are of the opinion that they are either sidelined or not being carried along. We will build confidence in all Nigerians, individually and collectively, to believe that we are there for their interest and the overall interest of this country. A politician at this level must understand that servicing ethnicity or servicing just one religion doesn't work, or servicing even region or zone doesn't work. What will work for all of us is to build the confidence of people individually and, of course, across the country. And by doing that, you will have peace and stability and therefore development in the country. Now, the key thing that has been raised by Sean is the issue of the security. And most of these failures, issues that we have, are branches of the issue of insecurity. If you don't have security in your country or in your community, hardly can you get anybody who can go to the farm. And that's the situation now in many parts of this country. If you don't have security, you hardly get anybody who will buy or sell something at point A or point B. And so many things will affect the security itself, and so on and so forth. We have in our blueprint that the military in this country are very much inadequate. Now we want to raise the level of just less than 250,000 to about 1 million. So also the police, less than 230,000 to another 1 million. And people in your own area, the DSS, of course, will increase the number, and civil defense and so on, to match the exigencies of this moment. Of course, issue of training, retraining, issue not only of the intelligence from the people, even the artificial intelligence that is very strong now due to the level of the technology that we have across the world. And of course, we will have everybody working together to ensure peace and stability. So on one hand, yes, we'll dialogue with anybody. But throughout the history of not only Nigeria, the world over, there will always be few people who will not be happy with peace. And that's why government will take necessary action to ensure that there is peace in each and every square meter in this country.